Hi, Davia here, coming from the South Caribbean coast of Costa Rica. Specifically, I am in a city called Puerto Viejo or Playa Negra, Costa Rica. It's on the south side of Costa Rica, so there's two sides, the Pacific side, and I am on the Caribbean side. The side that I'm on is about 4.5 hours away from the airport, and I think the other side is about 2.5 to 3 hours. So we are through the mountains and to this beautiful, beautiful Caribbean ocean here in Costa Rica. Okay. A lot of people travel here and their final destination is the town of Puerto Viejo. The reason why, I believe, is one, it has a beautiful beach, but it has a bunch of nightlife, shopping, activities, and people. So Puerto Viejo, the city itself, is typically the destination point for a lot of people when they're traveling here to the South Caribbean, because there's a lot of activities and things to do. I moved here about 4.5 years ago with my twin girls. So I'm going to be talking to you from a perspective of a family. I am now engaged and will be married next year. So pretty much everything that I'm going to say is from the perspective of a family of four, husband, wife, and two kids. I have a bachelor's degree and a kind of master's degree, still working on that. But in the United States, I had a career I was a district manager for a pretty large territory in Southern California. So that's what I did before for a very, very, very large, well, the largest payroll company in the United States. So that's what I did prior to coming to Costa Rica. And the question is, what is a popular career here for people of African American descent? I'm not really what most of my friends and who I call my Costa Rica family do for a living is we teach online for a living. One, because it's easy, we can do it from home. We basically make our own schedule, we make our own hours, and so if we have kids, which a lot of us do, we're able to teach from home and then homeschool our kids if necessary. But we can do that all on our own schedule. A lot of us did not have prior teaching experience per se. So now that's pretty much the bulk of what most of us do is we teach online to either adults or children. It just depends on the company you work for, and there are many of them. I've been here now for 4.5 years. I moved here in March 2016, so kind of going on 4.5 years. I decided to move abroad because I was just tired of the rat race in the United States. I felt like I needed a change and I could do better. I was making quite a bit of money. I wasn't happy. I had a very lovely home. I wasn't happy. I had a lot of friends, a lot of family. Wasn't happy. Not with them. I just wasn't happy with my life. And what I decided is I wanted to build wealth, and I could not do that in Los Angeles, California, because that's where I'm from, Los Angeles, California. The opportunities to build wealth, to buy land, to buy homes, it just wasn't available to me there. So it is available to me here. So that's one of the main reasons why I decided to leave. I just wanted a better quality of life. I wanted to retire early, which is kind of what I did. So I kind of retired, packed up my life in the US, moved here to the South Caribbean coast, and I actually did everything that was on my vision board or my checklist of things to do in terms of buying property, buying a house, just living a retired lifestyle. My kids are happy. They go to a private school when school is in, pre-COVID. So everything that was on my checklist about what is my definition of a good quality of life, I'm able to achieve here in Costa Rica. So some of the pros of living here to me, again, I feel like I'm retired. I wake up when I want. I go to bed when I want. I determine what I'm going to do for the day. If I'm going to work that day, I work. If I'm going to go to the beach that day, I go to the beach. If my kids want to go boogie board or go surf, I take my kids to go boogie board and I go surf. If my husband wants to go to dinner, we go to dinner. So that is a pro to me. Pro is I am in control of what I do every day. No one tells me what to do. No one tells me when to come and go. I just determine everything that I'm going to do on my own terms. So that's a big pro for me and probably for most of you all watching this video. A con would be, for me, the banking system here in my particular area is a little bit behind in the times. And so like if I need to take care of some banking or get money or send money, to me it's a little bit difficult to do that if you still have business in the US. If your entire banking system is here in Costa Rica, it's very easy. You can do everything online. But the company that pays me obviously is an international company. So they don't pay me in colones, which is the local currency, and they pay me in US dollars. So it's a little bit difficult for me sometimes to get money. I can still use my ATM. I can still bank here using my US bank account. But if I need to go inside of the branch and do a transaction, to me, it's a little bit difficult. That would be the only con for me. I have to be very honest. The only con is the banking system, in my opinion. The pros, they're too numerous to mention, so I'll give you the top three for me. Number one is a very, very good quality of life in terms of the food. The people are just beautiful and loving and amazing. Everybody calls you family, even if they don't even know you. So when they first meet you, they're like, hey, family. You're family because you look like this and your hair looks like this or whatever your hair looks like, but you are family. So for me, that's good because in Los Angeles, I had this underlying fear. I can't even explain it. It was just, I was always afraid for my kids and afraid for myself. And here, I'm like, I just have no fear. I'm not afraid for my kids. I'm not afraid for my own life. Like everything is definitely pura vida. The food doesn't have additives and preservatives and GMO. Like the chickens are normal size. They don't look like turkeys. And like, you know, just the quality of life. The air quality is beautiful. The ocean breeze is coming in. You know, if you had allergies, it's good for allergies. And I just find that my health overall is much better than it was when I was in the US. Tourist attractions. Well, most people come here because it is beautiful in terms of nature. There's about 5 very popular destination beaches, and I'll go in order from the time you come into town. So the first popular destination beach would be Cahuita, second, Playa Negra, third, Puerto Viejo, which is like the main city, Puerto Viejo, 4, Cocles, and finally Manzanillo. So in that order, as you're driving, those are some of the destination beaches, are the tourist attractions on why people come here. Secondly, there's a bunch of beautiful, just untouched waterfalls that you can go to here in your local area. And just keep in mind, everything is between 5 to 20 minutes apart. So when I'm naming all these beaches, it's not like a day trip to get from one beach to the other. You can literally beach hop, if you will, and get from one beach, the first beach that I told you in Cahuita, to the final beach in Manzanillo in about 40 minutes, no more, for all those beaches that we just talked about. So the tourist attraction would be beaches, definitely the Bribri waterfall, and some of the other big waterfalls as well. Some other things that people do here is they do go on chocolate tours to the Indian farm. So there's a lot of local Bribri Indians that live here because they're the originators. They're from here. They live here. This is their land, and so they grow chocolate and cocoa. So a lot of people do the tours for the chocolate tours. The attractions that the locals enjoy, honestly, we just hit the beach up. That's what we do. We just choose a beach and we're like, hey, we're going to this beach today. We just all bring our food and we chill at whatever beach we decided to hang out that day. We bring our music, we bring our friends, our food, our kids, and we chill at the beach. So that's kind of what we do. In town at night, there's a very, very active local nightlife. And I'm going to say there are about 5, I'm going to call them clubs, because they have all the characteristics of a club minus the line and the cover charge. So they're basically what you would consider to be a club in the States, minus those two things. You can wear what you want, there's no line and no cover charge. So what the locals like to do on the weekends is we go hang out at the clubs. We just listen to live music. We play live music. We hang out. You know, we have wine. We have beer. So that's what the locals do. We're just like, hey, hey, hey. They have dance floors. You know, reggae night, salsa night. Just Greg, can you unlock your phone, please? Yeah. So that's what the locals typically like to do. We just hang out in town, the town of Puerto Viejo. Again, there's about 4 to 5 we would consider clubs. So that's what the locals do on the weekends. All right, next question. The average salary that is needed to live comfortably here, I want to say for a family of 4, probably about $2,000 a month. The cost for rent is extremely low. And I'm going to be very honest, the cost for imported food is extremely high. So the way to get around that, I've learned after 4 years, is buy local. Whatever food, fruits, and vegetables that they grow here, buy that. If you have to have imported stuff, your cost of living goes up. So if you want to start learning how to make yuca and I don't know, just whatever the local plantains, bananos, green banano, yams, breadfruit, whatever grows on the trees, whatever you can find locally is very inexpensive. But as soon as you start getting those US imports, your cost is going to go up quite extensively. So I want to say, yeah, for a family of 4, we can have a very nice home, eat whatever we want, go out, hang out, have money for dining out, eating out, pay all of our utilities as well as tuition if your kids go to private school. We have fiber optics internet, so it's super fast, but it's not the cost, I don't think, is what the cost in the US for fiber optics, I think, is very high, but I'm not sure. But here is very affordable. So we can get away with, you know, $2,200 a month for a family of 4 and live very comfortably. You don't even need $2,400, because if your house isn't, we have a pretty nice house and it's a large size. But if you don't have to have a big house, you know, then your costs will obviously go down. How are we treated as Black people? I treated, again, like I said, like family. I don't know these people. I mean, of course I know them now, but I'm saying when I first got here, I didn't know these people, but they treated me as though we were related somehow. And I guess technically we are, but they really don't know me, but they embrace me, they love me, they welcome me, my kids, everybody is considered family. There's some more backstory that I won't go into, but for the most part, the people here are of Jamaican descent, right? So they have the skin that looks like mine. They also embrace the Rastafari religion, some of them. Some of them are like, I think, Seventh-day Adventist, Jehovah's Witness. So there's Catholic. There's a bunch of different variations of religion, but they all look like me. So they all treat me the same, you know? And here I find I'm more accepted and loved and cared for and looked after, and people have my back than any experience besides my family and friends from strangers, I'm treated here just like family. Like we've known each other our whole life and we may have just met last week. You can meet somebody on a Tuesday and be at their house eating dinner with their family on a Friday. It's true. Like it doesn't take a lot because the town and the community is so small. Once people see like, oh, she's a good person, she's nice, her kids are cool, her kids can play with my friends, my kids, then you become this huge like Costa Rican expat family. And that's what's happening here. We're growing our tribe, we're growing our family, and these people are from all over the world. They could be from here, they could be from, I don't know, Jamaica, they could be from the US. No matter where they're from, the Bahamas, Trinidad, doesn't matter. This is kind of like where everyone migrated and ended up, and so now we're a family. So I have not experienced racism personally myself, and I don't know anyone who looks like me who have experienced racism either here in this particular part of Costa Rica that I live in. So, racism in the country as a whole, ooh, that's a difficult question. In the country as a whole, they, like every other country, has had their dark history or their dark past as it pertains to people of color. And just like mostly every other country, people of color were used to do manual labor. And just like everywhere else, a lot of the Jamaicans and Chinese actually came here to work on the railroad, and they stayed. So there's generations of Jamaicans and Chinese who were brought here to Costa Rica to build a railroad from the north to the south side, and they stayed. They had kids, they married some of the Native Americans, they married some of the Spanish Ticos, and they became like this huge blended family. So of course within that context, there's going to be some degree of racism, right? I personally can't speak about it because I am not from here. From where I'm from, we don't even get into that, but I have never experienced racism based on who I was. And I'm not saying it doesn't exist because I'm sure that it does. I just can't talk about it because I've not experienced it personally, but I'm sure almost 100% if you ask a local Afro-Caribbean person of Jamaican descent, I'm sure the older will probably have a different perspective and a different story than I have. But personally, I have not seen, felt, or been in contact with anyone who's expressed to me any feelings of racism or not being accepted or not being loved, or told that they were too dark or too light, or you can't shop here, or we won't serve you, or anything like that. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to say the racism factor here, personally speaking, is probably a 1 or a 2. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I guess we'll be in touch. Ciao.